I mean, this is what he signed up for. You know, people talk about LeBron, he's not the general manager. Man, that roster right there, the people in Cleveland, LeBron, they put that roster together. That's all they got. He don't have no choice. He's fortunate that he's in the best shape that he's been in the last 5 years, where his back's not bothering him. It's been well documented during the season. He played 82 games for a reason. They don't get out of the play. If he plays 5 less minutes, they don't get out of the first round. LeBron realized what's at stake, and what's at stake is not Cleveland's future. It's LeBron's legacy. And if he wants the things to be said good about him, he better play as many minutes. That's the reason why he clocked in yesterday to play 48 minutes if he had to.
Listen, you guys know I like to look to history to tell about the future. And what I know is this. When LeBron has to play in a 7-game series before the NBA Finals, who cares about a 7-game series in the Finals? Because you got the whole summer off. How does he do in the series after a 7-game series? We've only seen it happen twice where in this run. The year where Boston took them 7. What happened in game 1 of the next series? They lost to OKC, the only game in that series they lost. Then, the next year, actually, Indiana took them 7. Now, it was odd because the games the Cavs won were comfortable wins except for game 1. But in game 7 was a comfortable win, but it was still 7 games LeBron had to play.
Weren't they down 2-1 in that?
They were down 3. Like, it was a back-and-forth series. In fact, I think they went win-loss, win-loss. But regardless, it went 7. What happened in that next series against the Spurs? LeBron had, I think, 2 of the first 3 finals games. He was held under 20 points. The Spurs got up 3-2 in that series before LeBron had a remarkable finishing kick of games 6 and 7. Going 7 games for LeBron has not boded well for at least the beginning of the following series. Since LeBron's been on this run in Cleveland, they sweep in the first round every single year. They've swept in the second round 2 of the 3 years. They swept in the conference finals 2 of the 3 years.
But there were people that were able to help LeBron, to give him just an opportunity to take a deep breath. He had a Kyrie. He had a number 2 for most of the time that he was doing this. He doesn't have that. There is no second. It's him. And when it's not him, it's seemingly no one.
To speak to your point, Jenna, in the 39 playoff games the Cavs played in the 2 years prior to this one, they had someone other than LeBron score 20 points in those 39 games 36 times. 36 out of 39, they've had someone, at least one person, score 20. In the 7 games this year, they're at 0 times someone other than LeBron has scored 20 points.
Yeah, I've been saying it all year from the time that Kyrie requested the trade, that this year would be haunted by the year without Kyrie. And when you get to these playoffs and you don't have someone like Kyrie, it is all on LeBron's back. And that's the reason why I don't think they're going to make it to the finals. It's not because of LeBron. They didn't think he'll perform. They barely made it out of the first round, and LeBron played brilliant. And after 7 games, he told you he was exhausted. Now, in 48 hours, they're going to go against Toronto on the road against the team that has the best record. Now, this is the best potential matchup that Toronto has had against LeBron James. His teammates are lack of support. They forced him into it. LeBron said it, man, this is what the doctor ordered. This is not his natural. LeBron doesn't want to do this. In high school, LeBron, 27, 9, 8. Career numbers, year 15, what are they over his career?
27, 8, 8.
27, 8, and 8.
Same guy.
That's what he wants to do. He don't want to do this. That's why in the wins in this series, 4 wins, how many points he averaged, Nick?
42.
He don't want to. In the losses, how many?
What, like 31? No, less than that. Pardon me. Like 26. Pardon me.
All right. So that's what the team has forced him to do. When he plays, I'm gonna defer to them. I'm gonna let them get started. We see what happens. They lose. If LeBron doesn't do what he did, if he don't turn into Superman, put the cape on, the shoes, everything, they lose this series. He has no choice. Even they forced him so much that LeBron had to play 10 years ago, 2008 LeBron defense, and getting the 4 steals that they had in this game. And not only that, he still needed George Hill to say, hey, coach, put me in. Let me play another 19 minutes in the second half after being out 3.5 games with back spasm. His teammates, nothing else. Not his greatness. His teammates forced this great performance out of LeBron.
Listen, there aren't many things we can rely on as guarantees in sports anymore. LeBron being A+ in win-or-go-home games is about all that's left. UConn women's basketball, they haven't won a title in 2 years. They haven't even been to the championship game in 2 years. The Undertaker lost at WrestleMania. Rafael Nadal lost at French Open. What can we rely on? Here's what we can rely on. Since LeBron James' lowest moment of his career was when? Leaving the court against
Dallas.
Since he walked off the court there, he has played 13 win or go home games. Give me about 60 seconds. I'm going to try to run through them for you real quick. 2013, Game 6 against Boston. Biggest game of his career up to that point. 45-15-5. That was win or go home. Following game, Game 7 as well. Tied going into the fourth quarter. Gives you 31-12-5. Next year, Game 7 against Indiana. 32-8-4. Game 6 against the Spurs. The famous Ray Allen game. Remember the game Ray Allen bailed him out? Except for LeBron had 16 in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, they were trailing by 10 to finish the game with 32-10-11. What about Game 7 of that series, win or go home? 37-12-4. Let's go to the next year when they lost to the Golden State Warriors in Game 6 of those, or the Spurs in Game 5 of those NBA Finals. 31-10-5. The next year, his win or go home game against the Warriors. 32-18-9. How about the 3 straight win or go home games to finish out 2016? 41-16-7. 41-8-11. 27-11-11 to win the championship. Last year, the 2 win-or-go-home games against Golden State, 31-10-11, 41-13-8, and then last night, 45-9-7. What that adds up to is 13 games, a 10-3 record. The one game he didn't score at least 30, he had a triple-double in a Game 7 of the finals to average 36-12-7 in that stretch. Not a bad game amongst them. We know if the season's on the line, LeBron's giving you an A-plus performance. Can't speak for everybody else, but usually that's enough. We don't know anything in sports like we know that. It's unbelievable. It's 7 years, Jenna, since he's had a bad game in a win-or-go-home situation. 7 years.
Listen, I fully respect that. I had no doubt, because we've been talking about this all week, that he was going to come up big in some capacity. Because in the last couple weeks, he's the only one that's come up big in all different capacities. But now, I've said this all show, and I'm going to say it again. I've never seen LeBron physically look exhausted. He is tired. It is an enormous amount of weight to carry. You know what that weight is? It's the entire team. He's carrying all of them. So yesterday we got excited because what? Because Kevin Love, scored 3 baskets. We're like, oh my God, Kevin Love, he got the ball in the net. We were so excited. I love the numbers. I love what he's done. And if the season ended today and this was it, right off into the sunset. But there's so much more work to be done. And even though he keeps doing it, I keep asking, how much more can he do?
This is the only time we ever celebrate LeBron after the first round. And because his teammates, or lack of teammates, or lack of support. Man, if it was golf, he was Tiger Woods, he'd be straight. But that's not the case. We better keep talking about LeBron, because the rest of the story, it's not good. And his teammates and their lack of being able to depend on them, that's what forced this out. When you have to start Tristan Thompson, when you play him more minutes than he had played combined in the whole, when you have to bring George Hill off the bench from 3 games with back spasms, this is what LeBron had to do. This is an awful basketball team, and they might be more talented than the first LeBron teams, the LeBron team that he took to the finals, but they're not as good defensively. So this is trouble for LeBron. I thought that he would struggle more in this, meaning he's on the Cavs. They would struggle more in this series than in this sequence of series than any other year. I'd be surprised they made the NBA Finals. I believe that 76ers will beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals, and this will break LeBron's streak of 7 consecutive finals.
Vegas says they're going to lose before then. For the first time in 7 years, the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James team, whether it be the Heat or the Cavs, are underdogs in a series pre-NBA Finals. They are plus 180 to just beat the Toronto Raptors. Vegas says Raptors are healthier, Raptors have home court, Raptors are the team that is obviously better rested. I think they feel similarly to how I feel in just this one regard, that in Game 1, LeBron's going to be very passive because only the one day off. I'm going to see if his teammates can get it together. But listen, LeBron last night also set the all-time playoff steals record to go along with points. He's 3rd in assists, 7th in rebounds, 19th in blocks. He's the greatest postseason performer I have ever seen. He's going to hold all the records when it's said and done. Unless he is going up against a team with a superstar, not that can match him, but that can give you 80% of what he can give you, I'm going to roll with them. I don't think the Sixers have that player yet, and I know Toronto doesn't have that player.
Toronto does have a better player
than Indiana?
Yes.
Is DeRozan going to play better than Oladipo played? Oladipo had the bad 3 games, so I guess he's going to have to. DeRozan's going to have to average 30 in this series. Would you agree?
Yeah. Well, what did he average in the Washington series?
Right around 30.
And who do the Cavs have that can shut him down?
I think they'll probably have LeBron guard him.
Oh, no.
In the fourth quarters.
No.
I mean, but your point, though, is this, Cece. Over the last 2 years, 39 playoff games, 36 of them, LeBron had a teammate score 20. And this year in the playoffs, he's had 7 playoff games. How many times he had a teammate score 20?
0.
And another new lineup yesterday, Jenna, which I know has been your thing all year long.
I can't follow along. If you ask me who's going to start, I have no idea. We thought we were going to have one new playoff starting lineup. We kept getting excited about it. Meanwhile, as you said, they played like 2,500 minutes, just shy of it. You know how many minutes this lineup has played, the one we saw yesterday? 3.
That's insane. They played all year long, the guys that started yesterday, 3 minutes together. All year long, they played 3 minutes together. And that, by the way, Ty Lue doesn't get a lot of credit, see? Having the courage to go with Tristan Thompson, who was the second best player on the Cavs yesterday. Don't get it twisted. He was excellent for them. That was a huge adjustment by them.
And that's another little chip that you can either get a graphic or something that LeBron can add. I mean, he is the only player. Yeah, something. I mean, he's the only player that can get Tristan Thompson out the doghouse with the Kardashians.
Any graphic or
I mean, he brought him out the doghouse, bro. I mean, that's real. Only LeBron can do that.
Is this the lineup you think we'll see Tuesday night against Toronto?
Yes.
They got no choice.
I think the only option...
Unless George Hill is healthy.
Right. But I think they're going to stick with this until they lose, and then they'll change it again.
35.
But what we are seeing is in Philly, in Utah with Donovan Mitchell, we're like, oh, how much does playoff experience matter? Chris Broussard had this right. Chris Broussard said it. If you're a special, transcendent talent...
If you're a star, it don't matter.
If you're a star, it doesn't matter. You know who it matters for? Jordan Clarkson, who's unplayable. Rodney Hood, who's unplayable. Larry Nance, who's trying hard but can't get it done. Like, those guys had their opportunities yesterday, and the moment was too big for them. So they went with the 5 guys who've been to the finals with the Cavs, plus George Hill, who had significant playoff experience his time in Indiana. And so, I mean, that's who they're going to have to run with. They got 6 guys you trust right now. One of them's Kevin Love, who's having his worst series of his career.
Glad they pulled it out, because today was going to be a bad day for Nick Wright.
It's a great day for Nick Wright.
Great rest of your Monday, everyone. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.